Okay.
So tell me more about it. How did you get into this way of working?
Okay, so I started off at uni doing my sports therapy degree, and I loved it. So I went into the pain area. Started off doing a lot of sports massage, and led me along a route of different courses that never quite for me got to the root cause. So I was always, we'd got to get to a point with clients where it would stagnate. We'd get to where we got to, and that was good for them, they'd be happy, but it would be, I'd say, monthly, 6 weekly, they'd have to be in for a top up. And I didn't want to work like that anymore. And then I came up with doing my anatomy and motion training. That was the first. That's how we met. Do you want to continue on from there, our journey?
But what's the background to it? What about you, Sally? Like degrees, what degrees do you hold in?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I left school really young and travelled around the world for 10 years and worked abroad, so I didn't even finish off school. I never really knew what I wanted to do, and then when I came back I had all sorts of different jobs and never was happy in what I was doing. And then I left one of my jobs and then did sports massage, and then did that for a long time. And then I thought, oh, I like this, but it's not. It's people lying down on the couch. It isn't. I wanted to get people moving, so then I trained as a personal trainer. And then I didn't. Again, I liked it, but I didn't really like just training someone for the sake of training. So then one of my biggest passions is running and cycling. So I became more interested in the running biomechanics of clients. And so then I came to London and did my master running coaching course in London with the London Running School. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. I can train people to run really efficiently. I know loads about running, but it still wasn't the linchpin in pain, helping people with pain. So I could make people run more efficiently, but that didn't necessarily solve their running injury problems. So then that's when I came across Gary Warden, Anatomy and Motion. And then that's where I met Elle, and he was the one with the kind of icing on the cake in terms of a way of looking at someone. You still using gait analysis and watching people walk, and watching how their body moves and understanding where their pain site is coming from. But now our process is much more, they're not on the couch, they're moving. We're going through long injury history to find out where the blockages are in the body and how we can unravel them using movement and understanding how all the joints in the body move.
So when someone comes to you with an injury, what can they expect in that kind of first one-to-one?
Oh, that's a goodie. So when they walk through that door, they will have filled out an in-depth consultation form where basically they are going to go back through their past, and they're going to work joint by joint from, say, the foot to the shin to the knee to the thigh, up the body, and just think about what has happened. Have they broken? Have they got scars? Have they had operations? And it can be right back from birth, so how they were delivered, to ankle sprains, always a good one to look at. Tracking through this history. Also, we look into linking in emotional stuff, because that the body really holds on to that as a trauma. So it's a really in-depth. Teeth are interesting too. Eyes, all sorts. So the consultation form is the biggie. Then they will stand on a force plate. We'll find out where their weight is working through their body. We'll have them looking at how their weight is affecting how they're moving. So we'll have them do a gait analysis where we'll film and assess that, and biomechanically assess what each joint in their body can do, what it can do, what it can't do, and then from there we'll piece together what that person looks like, how they're compensating in their body, how to feel their pain. We'll probably even get into their body. So from the notes that we've taken, we'll then piece together in us, and we'll get into what they feel like. What can we feel, and check in, do you feel the back pain that I've now got? Yes, I do. So it's a very thorough assessment, and that's where we really get to the nitty gritty.
On the first
So
session.
so someone would expect quite a physical session. They're not going to be lying on a couch. And then, did they get homework to do? How does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that after the first assessment, I'll always try and endeavour to give them videoed homework by the end of the first session.
Yeah.
So even if I'm still unclear and I want to take the information away and go over their gait analysis and go through their information, without them, I'll always try and give them something and that first session to go away and do.
And the video is really handy, isn't it? I mean, we always give video homework.
Oh
which
yeah,
I-
it's always videoed homework.
Oh, right.
So they
How modern.
that way they can go over and
So videos of them
check in.
doing the exercise, so they know exactly what they're doing.
Sometimes us, because depending how they learn, it could be if they learn better with the filming them doing the exercise, perfect. Otherwise, it's us doing the exercise. It's tapping into how they learn best.
And how often might they come see you?
It can depend. I've had people who come for one session and it's that magic one where, you can find something very easily, correct it very quickly, and you have I call them a magic session where it just might be one session. You've done something that's enabled them to walk out without pain, great. But then depending on that person, depending how deep-rooted the problem is, it could be a slow process or it can be a long process, but that's depending on so many different factors.
And it's not exclusive to runners, is it?
No.
It can be any.
Anybody who's in pain.
Lots of back pains. I get a lot of.
So not just for runners. So it could be any. It doesn't really matter who the job or the age or the the
Person.
gender.
Children. Had quite a few children lately, which is good because you don't have such a long injury history to go over. But it really quite open.
So it's a hands-on therapy. It's a movement therapy. So it sounds quite different to say someone seeing a physio or an osteo. It sounds very different.
Yeah. Well, one of the big differences is our sessions are a lot longer. We don't just do half-hour sessions. We delve a lot more into injury history. I don't think I've ever been for a treatment where anyone's actually, apart from maybe a short
Probably
form as I walk
than
in.
your pain site.
So it's,
Pain site. What's the pain site?
So the pain site is something that you walk in with. So you might walk in with knee pain. And most people look at the knee maybe a little bit above, a little bit below, but what we're wanting to know is what everything's doing in the body to affect. It could be that knee pain's coming from the other leg.
So maybe a compensation, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's thinking the site of pain is the top of the iceberg, but actually you've got more iceberg underneath the water than you have on top. So yes, looking at the big picture, the iceberg underneath to get to why you've got the iceberg on top.
So to summarise, if I've understood correctly, you do a long kind of analysis and history of the person. So you might need to get them to ask their parents about what injuries as a child.
Yeah.
It's a longer session, it's hands-on, it's dynamic, but they'll be equipped to go home and continue the technique at home.
Yeah.
And then each person will have an individual kind of follow-up route. Oh, that's
bespoke
fascinating.
program to them, which
100%
puts them back in charge, empowers them to know what's going on rather than relying on seeing us.
Well, it sounds fabulous, and I look forward to seeing the videos coming up on your Facebook pages.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.